Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monthly Mindfulness. And this month, we're going to work on a little bit of breathing, really talking about our being mindful with our breath and getting back to those basics. Because without the breath, we really are not able to find a center place, find a center ground here. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how we can get back to those basics of breathing. So, again, my name is Cecily, and I am a mind and body technician with the Yellow Haven Health System. And we're going to check this out. So please join us too and check out any of these presentations will also be shared on our YouTube channel, which is called Refresh, and then as well as the link will all be on the Thrive location. So without further ado, I'm going to get this going. So we're going to do a little bit of a different format here and so typically we have done where we had a presentation and then there was going to be there was going to be meditation. So we're kind of integrate a little bit of meditation throughout this entire presentation. So we're going to do some more breathing exercises. So this month, June, let's get back to the breath. It's a beautiful weather in the time of June, typically. Great time to even go outside, get a breath once those allergies kind of calm down if you do have them for some people. Um, and or the temperature's not too hot, not too cold, just right. So hopefully this is why I picked breathing for this month, to be honest with you. So breathing is a concept and an idea that uh, we don't think about on a regular basis. We just breathe because we have to breathe in order to survive. So let's talk about the next few minutes about being mindful about it and paying attention to the breath. So just to give a little bit of um, idea of what Thrive is I just want to talk about the Yellow Haven Health System for just a moment. If you look on the internet and you go to, you'll find Thrive. And Thrive is a multi-dimensional wellness system, employee wellness system for the Yellow Haven Health employees. And the little piece of the pie over there that we fall under as the mindfulness practices that we have monthly mindfulness, that we have the daily take 10s, and also health coaches. We're under my well-being. So check it out. There's more resources available and it's being updated daily. And actually, we have a new coordinator for EFR, which falls under the My Wellbeing that will be coming on. His name is Chris Prokop, and he's going to be kind of heading up a lot of this too. So that's very exciting. So welcome to him. But let's get right to it. So we're going to talk about the breath, about the foundations of breath, about the foundations of mindful breathing, the fact that it is a supports overall health, overall well-being. Rooted in a simple but very effective and powerful way to get us back to center and to get us back to basics and to get us back to being a refreshed and renewed and ready to go. So when we bring attention and intention and awareness to it, it kind of brings us back to that core, which is really linked to the nervous system. So when we are intentional about our breath, it can help us to feel physically more refreshed. We're getting oxygen to our body. We're mentally more refreshed. We're getting plenty of oxygen to our brain as part of our body. And also, if we're mindful about our breathing, we're intentionally taking a time and taking a break. So that connection between body and mind is part of how the nervous system keeps itself regulated, how we can emotionally regulate, how we can physically be healthy, how we can bounce back from things, resilience. And it's a pretty simple way to keep ourselves under stress, stress management, improve our focus, be more effective at our job, be more effective at home, get better sleep. All of this can be brought right back to our breathing. So let's first talk about how physiologically, how we, let's talk about how we actually breathe. So how we breathe in our body and physiologically, the mechanics of breathing involve the coordination between muscles, lungs, and nervous system. So we're breathing in with our inhalation, and during that time, the diaphragm contracts, it moves down, and the intercostal muscles, which are the ones, but there's little muscles between the ribs, are actually working as well. So, so we inhale, the rib cage expands, and we exhale, the rib cage contracts. This movement helps us to increase the volume in this thoracic cavity, which is the thoracic cavity being the home of the lungs, right? So allowing this air to flow through the nose and the mouth, it travels into these uh, um, little alveolas, Al and they are like little pockets. So in doing research here, I saw a diagram. I wasn't able to put it here, but I saw, and they're like little tiny, it looks like, little trees. It's kind of amazing. And the little leaves on the trees, these are. And those little guys, they fill up, and this is where the exchange is of the oxygen to carbon dioxide. So it's pretty amazing. These little sacs, these little like I said, if this was a tree, upside down tree, you kind of having it come in, and these are the leaves on the tree. So, and it's exchanging here. It's a almost like little bubbles where it's being exchanged, the carbon dioxide, and then the oxygen going in, the carbon dioxide, and then we breathe it back out. And every time we breathe, it happens. Every time this gas exchange occurs. So oxygen enters the bloodstream and carbon dioxide leaves. When we exhale, the diaphragm or the bottom actually relaxes, the rib cage contracts, and it pushes the air out of the lungs. So this is a natural process that typically we don't have to think about. But, so it's automatic. Our nervous system oversees it voluntarily. Voluntarily, we can control it though with our mindful breathing and really thinking about how we're doing this and how we're breathing. So this is kind of it's in a magical and amazing um, sequence of events where we're able to get rid of this metabolic waste as we go through this exchange where we bring in the air and then our body releases the air. So if we start thinking about it though, and we actually go through the process of mindfully doing it, we can regulate it in such a way that our body is able to relax because we're using now the nervous system is being calmed down literally from the rate in which and the depth at which we're breathing. So this mechanics are something if we really understand how the mechanics of the breathing are involved, then we are able to take control of it and also control of our nervous system and help us to decrease our stress, like let go of some things because while we have this slow, deep breathing, it changes how our body is dealing with stress. So when we're stressed, when we're overwhelmed, sometimes shallow breathing can happen. I've seen it multiple times and more than once and every day pretty much, where I say to someone when we're doing massages, take a deep breath. And sure enough, this will happen where it will be a very quick breath and the shoulders will go up and the shoulders will go down. At no point when I was describing how our bodies breathe, and the physiological process that's going on in the body when we breathe. At no point did I say that the shoulders were involved, because they're not. The thoracic cavity is involved. The intercostal muscles, the little muscles between the ribs, are involved. Really, the diaphragm is involved. That's a huge one, because the diaphragm is the at the bottom, in the base of the lungs, is the muscle that is pushing the breath out as we breathe out. So that contract expansion and contraction of that muscle can help, is a huge part of that. And that's at the bottom, not up here at the shoulders. It's more in the abdomen. So stress-driven, shallow breathing is not what we like to go towards. We like to go towards some more balanced respiratory patterns, something that is deeper, involves a slow, controlled inhalations, exhalations, and using the diaphragm to have the lungs fully expand and fully contract. This breathing pattern helps us to improve the oxygen intake, and with that helps to promote relaxation, and it lets our bodies know that we're okay. I don't know if you've ever been in a place or a situation where you were panicked. If you've lived life long enough, there's been something that's happened where you find something happened where it was a stressful situation. It was an emergency. Um, it was something that needed to be tended to very quickly. And so our breath in that moment is a fight or flight. We have to take care of it. And we shorten our breath, and we have it very shallow and very quick in order to get things done, to make sure that we are safe, we keep everyone alive, things like that. There's let's use an example of, I do have children and small children. They run towards, we're in the parking lot at the grocery store, and my hands are busy. So I'm saying, stick with me, hold on to my dress, hold on to my shirt, and they kind of let go, and there's a car driving, I'll do that and to recover. But if this happens all the time, if we're always doing this, if every time our phone goes off, if every time an email comes in, if every time our phone rings, that we are doing this and it happens, then the breath can get stuck in this very shallow, panicky fight or flight response. And the body never has a chance to recover unless we are conscious and we think about how we are breathing and get back and retrain ourselves to go back. Our homeostasis, our homeostasis now being, bring it back to a calmer place, to deeper breathing, to full breaths, to abdominal breathing, if you will, bringing it down into the lower portion of the lungs, filling the entire lung and letting the body do its job. So now we signal safety to our body and to our nervous system. We are okay. It's okay. And that practice can bring us back to center and bring us back to a safe place, bring our bodies physiologically back to a place that has more oxygen, and so we can think clearer, sleep better, and as an overall sense of well-being. Deep breathing is combined with this mindfulness practice. It brings in presence, it brings in and reduces any mental distractions, because in the world it's easy to get distracted, especially with technology constantly coming at us, emails, phone calls, texts, apps, if we have them set to remind us, constantly something. It would never stop if we wouldn't put boundaries to it. So with that, I encourage taking a hold of that and taking a hold of your breath as a part of control for you and controlling your life. You can definitely practice it in various positions. You can help retrain these breathing patterns, and we're going to check those out in just a little bit to help you bring in balance, bring in calm. And it's something you can do anywhere, anytime. So you don't need weights, you don't need special equipment, you don't need anything other than your own self and your own just the decision to do it. And even if you are someone who has some sort of physical limitations when it comes to, and it can encompass a lot of different things, anywhere from you can ask any respiratory therapist. They're going to say, they're going to, this is there, there's exercises, right? We each have a different capacity. We each have a different capacity for how much, for the size of our lungs, by the way. So our thoracic cavity are different sizes, our lungs are different sizes. But none of this is something that stops us from just doing it for ourselves and being in training ourselves to be aware of our breath and practice. So this is just another reminder of the benefits of deep and mindful breathing. It reduces our stress, promotes relaxation. It can help our cardiovascular system. Slow or deep breaths can help lower our heart rate and blood pressure. I don't know if you've ever even just worked with yourself a little bit and found when you were done with something, if you did one of those. That's okay. That's done. Thank goodness, right? It's something that you can find ourselves doing. It's just wow. It brings ourselves back to center. The breath is able to be an anchor, lower that heart rate, reduce the blood pressure, signal to ourselves that we're safe. We're back at a good place, and so the whole body can respond because of that. It also can be a way that we can reduce those um, intrusive thoughts, or if you get yourself in a cycle of overthinking, if you will, task driven, it's a even more reason to stop and take some deep breaths because it will help improve the concentration and mental clarity. Because again, the world could continually pull at pretty much all of us nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we would never have enough time in the day if we really wanted to address all of the things that the world is pulling at most of us for. But if you breathe and it comes back to center, you'll have the clarity to help stop yourself and go back to what really is important and what needs to be taken care of, and concentrate and focus on those things. Again, breathing helps encourage calm responses to challenges, helps with emotional resilience. So if we're deep breathing and we're getting the oxygen that we need into our bodies, we're fueling our bodies in that way, and also puts things in perspective, you know, and helps us to regulate. It's an overall sense of just basic well-being. So we're going to take a few minutes, and the next part, what we're going to do is just go ahead and talk about and practice for a few minutes um, different techniques for breathing. So these are all things that can be practiced and practice them anytime, anywhere. Um, and it's something that again doesn't have to be um, it, it can be done anywhere, any environment, work, before challenging situations, before a presentation, before um, we're meeting with someone who maybe is a lot to be with, or something like that. But if we do them before I don't know if you've ever been somewhere and you had something to do and you got in the car, you were in the car, let's say, or before you walked in the door. You can even see it in like in on media, on television shows. I've seen it where before someone opens the door and they take a breath and then they go in. It's just something that we can be conscious of. Um, and there's some techniques here that we're going to work on to try to go ahead and train our body, because this is like anything else. It is training. It is something that we train our bodies to do over and over and over again. And if we don't train it to do these type of breathing exercises, we are actually training our body to breathe in a different way. And that's the way very short breaths, very um tight, very tightly wound breath. So by not, again, I'll say that again, by not training our bodies mindful breathing techniques, we're training our bodies to be in a fight or flight mode. So we're going to start by doing a little box breathing. So box breathing is a technique that uses this equal counts of inhalation, holding our breath, exhalation, pausing. So it's typically practiced in like a 4 count pattern. So we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds. And it can seem a little redundant and repetitive, and it's so very easy to say, okay, I'm done with that. Like what are we doing this for? But the more you practice it, the more when you get into a moment that is stressful, overwhelming, that your body can default to this type of breathing, or that you can even consciously bring yourself back to it in a moment that seems overwhelming or it is just a little bit too much. So like I said, a 4 count pattern, it calms the nervous system, reduces anxiety, it promotes that emotional regulation, again, that we're all in charge of, that we can take a hold of and grab the reins of, and be able to help ourselves emotionally regulate and respond in appropriate ways to stressful situations. It helps to maintain our composure, um, our challenging environments, high stress situations right before a presentation. But if we just, let's say we have a presentation to do and we decide that we're going to try box breathing before our presentation and we do it, and that's the first time we've done it. It's kind of like, you know, teaching yourself to ride your bike. You wouldn't want to ride your bike for the first time right before you rode. You wouldn't want to go and like learn how to ride your bike right before you were in a bike race. You would take the time to practice it, first learn about it, maybe learn about why you're doing it, learn about how the mechanics of the bike, depending on how you come about, what kind of learner you are. That's why I try to bring in when there's different techniques, why, because some people are deeper into that, want to know the whys. And then practicing it. So practicing it in non-stressful situations. So where we're able to make a mistake, if you will, if you want to call them a mistake, but where we are like, oh, that didn't really work for me. Well, right before a presentation is not the time to put that kind of pressure on yourself. So practicing it in times like this can help it become, you can pull yourself back to it very easily. And once you have it kind of in your back pocket as part of your toolkit, it's pretty, it's can be practiced anywhere very discreetly, and you can use it anywhere. It's not, so it's very interesting. My son uh is has a speaking of breath, they have these little necklaces, and on the necklace I couldn't remember the name of it, but it's like a little, almost looks like a whistle, but it's not. And I bought it for him because he was going to do a presentation, and we have been practicing some breathing techniques. And as a reminder, before he gets there, he uses it, and it's like you breathe in, and then it's just a little like reminder of breathing in. There's nothing in it or anything. It's just this little, like, almost looks like a whistle, and you breathe, and then, oh, but he's trained himself to hold it, and then you breathe out. So it's just a little thing. So you can also, that's another thing you could have with yourself, to remind yourself, is like a little stone or a rock. Perhaps if you've ever seen someone has a ring and they twirl their ring, there's little rings out there that can kind of help you and when you do these breathing exercises, you could have your ring on. And when you're practicing it, you twirl your ring, or you hold your rock, something like that in your hands, or um, things like that where you're able to go back to it. So then as as your body remembers it, if you have like a little ring, or if you have something like a rock that you take in stressful situations, that's what I do. As I have a little stone that I take and I kind of put it in my pocket and I mess with it. But when I do breathing exercises, I typically have the rock with me when I'm practicing. So then when I bring it with me, it's just reminding my body that back to something that I'd already practiced. And so just another little thing I thought I'd share with you. So we're going to try this box breathing. Um, let's get back to, I digressed a little bit there, but we'll get back to this inhalation, breath retention, exhalation, and pause. So we're going to do this for just a couple of minutes. So here's our box, and you can visually follow along on a box if that helps. And I will count out loud. So we're going to start by finding a nice, comfortable position. I always say that it's nice to just find a spot that you will take, hopefully not be interrupted. That you can sit up nice and tall, but never overly strained or stressed. We don't want to be rigid and feeling like we're at a stance here. So, but nice and strong. Strong is the word I would use for the seated posture here. And then we're going to go through just a couple of minutes, just about 5 minutes of breathing this box breath. At any point, if you feel lightheaded, if you feel overwhelmed, then stop and come back to it. Because sometimes we get so, we're breathing from when we try to train ourselves, at least, uh, we're using the top part of the lungs in order to get it right, if you will. But there is no right or wrong again. And so stop, just go back to your natural breath and then try to go back and train yourself again. Again, this is training. So we're going to start by, and I will count. Whenever you're ready, we're going to start by taking that deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. So that's what this is going to look like. We're going to take just a moment. Take a deep breath and release. If you're new to this practice and new to practicing it, you might have different feelings about it, might be challenging. Um, so we're going to find again a comfortable position. I just like to start it that way to know what you will expect, or so you know what to expect. And again, now we're going to return to that, and we're going to do this for about 3 minutes. And in that 3-minute time, we're going to stop at the end of the 3 minutes. We'll just go back again and take a deep breath at the end and just sit with ourselves for a moment and how we feel. So sitting up nice and strong, we're going to breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. There's a pause. 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release it. 2, 3, 4. Find that pause. 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4. There's a pause. 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Let it go. 2, 3, 4. Find that pause. 2, 3, 4. Nice deep breath in. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. And let it go. 2, 3, 4. There's a pause. 2, 3, 4. Another round. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release it. 2, 3, 4. There's a pause in the breath. Breathing in. Holding. Releasing. Finding the pause. I'm going to let you do that for just a moment on your own. And last round. Breathing in. Holding. Releasing. And pausing. And if you're ready, take another nice deep breath in. We're going to stop that pattern breathing for right now. We're going to stop the box breathing and just breathing normally, seeing how you feel, seeing if you're able to get a hold of your breath. And the structure of that can sometimes feel a bit overwhelming if you've never practiced it before. If you have, you might have your own pace at which you breathe. You might be able to hold that count on your own. Again, that's why I kind of pulled away at one point because we all breathe at different paces, right? The goal is to keep that 4-4-4-4 pattern. And again, if it's something that you'd like to practice more and more, I highly recommend getting a picture like this. Like you can come back to this PowerPoint, it'll be up on YouTube, something like this, where you just take a piece of paper that is a square, not a printer paper because that's not perfect square, and put it on your wall. A sticky note is a great one. If you put a blank sticky note on your screen, on your computer screen, um, you can follow it because it is a perfect square whenever you are overwhelmed and whenever you need to go back and practice that for a minute. 60 seconds breathing with your sticky note. It can be practice and taking control of your life and your breathing from a breathing perspective. And it kind of carries through and other things, to be honest. So checking in with ourselves for a moment. And now we're going to move on to another breathing technique here. There are 3 total techniques I'll be introducing today. This is the second one. This breathing one is the 4-7-8 breathing. This one is actually really great with stress reduction. It helps to reduce the heart rate. This one helps to slow that exhale down, and it's a really great one before you go to sleep. It can be very helpful when you're done with work, when you get in the car. This is a great one to do 60 seconds of before you start the car. Think about this. You got in the car, you're going to drive off. You're in the parking spot, you're in the parking garage. Set your alarm for 1 minute and do this technique. And every time, if that's something you can consistently do every day, you're calming your body down before you transition into the next, phase of life for the day, the next role that you play in the day. You're not at work, you're going home and being whatever that is, to your loved ones and to yourself, and so having that transition can be great. If you can't handle 60 seconds, meaning, like my parking spot really doesn't allow that, or I can't do that. You know what? 30 seconds, whatever you got. But just calming yourself. And again, this one's also really, really great for getting yourself ready for bed. So that's another time that you can definitely do that. Um, the breath hold, so the breathing in will be a count of 4. The holding is going to be for 7. And the release is going to be much slower, which is 8. So this technique will help you to control that out breath. So I don't know if you've ever seen yourself do this or other people found yourself doing it. Again, I think I demonstrated it earlier. And sometimes we got to let it go. Just let it fly. And sure, that's necessary from time to time. This kind of does the opposite, where you're holding it and you are controlling the rate in which you are releasing your breath. So it will look something like this. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Holding 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Controlling that out breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. So breathing in that oxygen, bringing all of that oxygen into the body. That's kind of what it's going to look like. And then we're going to hold it and then we're going to release it, but really focus on that releasing of the breath and controlling the out breath. So again, we're going to do that for just a couple of minutes. And when we do this, we'll do this for about I'm going to set it a little bit shorter, maybe for 2 minutes, just for a couple of minutes, because this one, I find when people first start doing it, and even myself, when I first started doing it, I found myself almost getting lightheaded because because it was the pace in which it was done was a little different than anything I'd ever tried before. So again, I'm gonna kind of watch the time here, and we're gonna do it for a couple minutes, okay? So if you're ready, sitting up in a nice, comfortable position. We're going to go ahead and breathe in, 2, 3, 4. I want you to hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's control it, 2, 3, 4. Releasing, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Letting go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let it go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take another nice deep breath and use your entire lung. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do that one more cycle. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and release it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now find how, see, come back to the center of yourself. Check in how you're feeling with controlling that out breath. You've kind of got some control of yourself and your day. This is one that uh, is not as a long term, not long term. So you don't need to do it for as long. Just kind of grabbing the reins of your day in transition periods. I find that this breath is incredibly helpful. So, like I said, before you go home from work or before you go to bed, this is a great one for that. So, the last one we're going to check out is the alternate breathing technique, controlled rhythmic breathing, one nostril at a time. We're going to use the finger for closure and balance. So we're going to close our nostrils and breathing in one nostril and exhaling out the other nostril. This is a yogic practice in itself. And I have to be honest, I'm still in the process of trying to get it. I wouldn't say master it because there's nothing, I'm not a master in anything. Well, that's not true. I'm a Reiki master, but even that, I don't like to use that term only because there's always practice to be done and something to learn. But this is a great meditative practice, and some people really love it because, again, they can do it on their own at any point, and it's like you have your own tool. So, kind of what it looks like is you're going to use your hand, kind of where you have a thumb and a pinky finger, and you're going to plug one nostril, breathing in, and then releasing and plugging with the other thing, the pinky finger. So we're going to head over. Let's try that. Ready? So breathing in and releasing. So when you breathe in, something to think about because this takes a little bit of coordination. You can even think about breathing in that nice cool air, releasing that warm air, whatever keeps you on track. We're going to try this for just about a minute here. So we're going to start by giving our rad hand sign, and we're going to go ahead and breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And one more time, breathing in and breathing out. See how your body is feeling right now, checking in with yourself. That one. And I place those breath techniques in order of, in my opinion, difficulty. So I think that if anything else, start with that. Go ahead and start with the 4-4-4 breath, and just make that a practice. And then before you go to bed, see if you can do that releasing where you control the exhale. And if after that you want to start working on alternating your breathing, by all means, give it a shot. Um, and see if you can carry that through your summer and see give yourself a time period. So I like to always so personally I like to give it, give myself 3 weeks, put it on my calendar and see if I can get through and do that. You could do another thing where something that I've done and I have sticky notes. Again, if you want to do that 444 and then each day you put a new sticky note in there to say you've practiced it and see if you can get and don't take any sticky notes off. See if you can get 21 of them up there. 21 just being a time period in which we create new habits. So have a goal for yourself, and even if it's 5 days, let's say go for 5 days. See if you can get yourself 5 sticky notes in a row to try to practice some breathing and bring yourself back to center. Without further ado, let's take one more nice deep cleansing breath in. Release any residual tension you might have in your body as you breathe out. Thank you for joining me. Check out the Refresh channel, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.